Patrick, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You bet, Chris.
Now, last night, I know your father, and watching him, he was so strong, so normal, that so many people must have felt that, oh, he's just as he always is. But what was he saying before that? How difficult was this for him last night?
Well, frankly, obviously, he is always up for a challenge. That's my father. I mean, whenever faced with a challenge, my dad rises to the occasion. He did with the Medicare vote. It was 59. They needed 60 for the vote to make it cloture, to save Medicare from privatization. My dad rose to the occasion. He came down, cast the deciding vote. This is another occasion. He wanted to be here to illustrate that this was another epic moment in the history of this country when there was a real passing of the torch to a new generation. You know, my cousin Caroline really elucidated when she wrote her op-ed and said that never has she seen in her lifetime a time when more people were coming up to her and saying they hadn't felt this way since they had been around during the time of her father. And really, Barack Obama was inspiring people and getting them back into politics. And my father, more than anyone else, has seen the history of this country since his brother was in politics. And people were criticizing Barack for being too lofty and having ideals that were too high. And, you know, my father could speak to that because he can say to the American public, listen, I know what it is to have someone who would speak lofty ideals, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, we need a president who can lift this country up and lead it to the future. And that's what he said last night, really helping to put history in context and making it such that Barack can show the American people it's all right to have a president who can, you know, have high ideals so that the American people can have a leader and know that that's the kind of leadership we need for the future.
And I think the message meant a lot more last night because of the duress that your father is under. I mean, just to be clear, that was not easy for him last night.
Well, you know, American people are suffering right now, and I think it means a lot to them that my father dug down deep himself. And you know, this is an election where everybody is trying to make ends meet. You know, foreclosure is all-time high. Health care, people are struggling. My dad's #1 priority is health care. You know, in a kind of way, this is an irony. He is fighting for his own health. And, you know, fortunately, he's able to get health care. And he's always said to me, you know, if members of Congress could have health care, American people deserve the same health care. That's what's in our platform here at the Democratic Convention. And when he's chairman of the Health Committee with Barack Obama as president, he intends to deliver on that promise. And he's already writing the bill. And he said last night, I'm going to be back in Washington to deliver on that. And that's why we need Barack Obama as president. Elections are about results. They're not about just the glitter and party of this kind of flashy show and rhetoric. It's about results. And my father has been one to demonstrate results. And last night when he showed up, he was about delivering results.
Your father has such an established history of making moments at conventions. Even though that speech was barely 7 minutes last night, do you think that, in some ways, it was the biggest night he's ever had?
Well, I heard someone say it was like a Michael Phelps moment in legislative parlance and in politics parlance. It was for everybody here in the convention hall because, you know, everybody in Democratic politics knows my father has been the stalwart of Democratic politics for 45 years in the Senate, always standing up for the voiceless, being the standard bearer against the overreaching interest of the private sector that would deny people pensions, deny them health care, and discriminate against them because of their disease, discriminate against them for an unsafe workplace, you know, polluting the environment. You know, my dad's been the one that's believed that government has a role in society to play. And if anything we've seen under this Bush administration, we've seen an overreaching of the private sector, and that has cost us so much in the way of the public's interest. And right now, the public wants a balance. They want the public's interest represented once again, and that's why my father was such an important figure to have to kick this convention off. And he is being celebrated. His politics politics has come back into center stage again. And, you know, I think Michelle Obama did a terrific job last night as well, and really helped connect Barack and the family, and that's what it's all about. It's about family and family values and common values, and that's what my father's been all about as well.
Well, he certainly continues to be. Patrick
Hey,
Kennedy,
Chris, thanks so much.
passionate politician, proud son today.
Thank you. Awfully proud of my dad.
I'm sure. Thanks for being here.